Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, so I went ahead and started just a hair early. We're going to bring on a special guest today, our founder and Pruvit CEO, Brian Underwood. So go ahead and load this up, share it, and it's going to be on questions, a little on Brian's background as an entrepreneur, not necessarily all Pruvit oriented. So hopefully this brings a lot of value, and I don't stutter too much over my words. I'm super excited to have him on, and let's make this happen. All right. In the meantime, hit the comments. One, if it's live. Two, if it's a replay. Would love to connect with everyone. And then, where are you calling in from? I'm actually in Sedona, Arizona right now. I was going to do that as the background, but I figured my face would be a little better, so it's nice and bright. So we'll get started. Brian, I'm going to look for you. Oh, man. They made it a little easier. It's got like boxes everywhere now. So I'm going to keep looking. If there's any questions you'd like to ask, you can throw them in the comments too. We'll see how I can do weaving around. But more or less, just to bring some value, really, really grateful that Brian's going to spend some time just to be able to do this. It's so cool that as a community, we're able to have access. There's not a hierarchy. It's not kind of like your traditional business where, you know, to get to the top guy, it's like an email to this person, to this person, this person, this person. It's really, really cool. Our community, it's very wide open. If there's anything you ever need from anyone, you just can text them. So this was kind of a cool idea that Brian threw out, let's say maybe a week ago, to be able to do. And then now it's able to come to fruition through kind of coordinating schedules. All right, Brian, if you're on, throw a comment down there. I'm going to try to invite him. If there's some challenges, well, that's just what they are. Okay, you're on here with me. I'm going to find you. If I can't find you, you can hit that little gray icon, and it'll invite you in, a request. It says plus 4 more. Who's the 4 more? Okay, Brian, click that little gray icon that requests to bring you in. Facebook's going to have to do a little work on their live platform here. I'm scrolling. It says plus 3, but I can't see them all. I can see your comments. I can't see your little graphic, though. There, I got you. They can't join this broadcast this time. What's that about? A lot of viewers. We'll work through it. I got plenty of ketones in me, so there's no stressing out. Let's see here. We'll make this work. So Brian, on the side of yours, it doesn't say I can bring you in. No. There may be a little icon on your screen that has it turned off, like allowed to join or allowed to add. Because on all the other icons, there's a little green thing, except for yours. Of course, the challenges of life. We'll give it, oh, there it is. There it is. Did it. It's adding. Again, for everyone just hopping on, throw where you're coming in from. And if you have a question, throw it in the comments. We'll see if we can grab it. Appreciate everyone's time this afternoon. Hopefully he's able to hop on. Hopefully it's not a signal thing. It still says adding, so I'm anticipating. Get a little bit more heart talk before we get started. Throw some, no, it declined. I'm gonna try again. Also, throw some hearts down there if you've tried the heart tart, and let me know if it's your favorite flavor, because it's absolutely my favorite flavor. Someone finally allowed me to pin the flavor down. There he is. Tastes like strawberry nerds. I finally pinned it down. It took forever.
Awesome. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. How are you today?
I am awesome. How is everybody? I see a lot of people coming on.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Kate. How are you? Kate's crushing it.
Oh, she's a rhino for sure. And she's in
Awesome.
Owensboro too. She's not far away. So for everyone that doesn't know Brian, wanted to bring Brian on today. He is our founder and CEO of Pruvit. Also, he wears multiple hats. So he's also a great dad and father. Wife Nancy, who's also a visionary. And then they have their 3 kiddos, Brylan, Brixton. And then what I didn't know is you actually adopted Lorelai. I didn't know that until actually quite recently. So I commend you on that, as more people or more individuals, families need to do more of that. So wanted to bring you on here more, talk about you as an entrepreneur, because that's the side that I don't feel like we get to hear a lot about. So kind of some of those trials, tribulations of you getting started, and then just kind of how you've grown as an entrepreneur. So I'll let you get set up there. I see you're messing with your little tripod. And then just let me know when we're good.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Awesome. Well, it's great to be online with everyone. Can you see me okay?
I can see you perfectly.
Awesome. No, listen, I think first and foremost, appreciate everyone that's tuning in. I know it's lunchtime for a lot of you, and I'm going to go crush some food as soon as we leave here. But yeah, I think entrepreneurship, if you're on this call, you're an entrepreneur, right? And to me, entrepreneurship is about innovating, whether it's innovating yourself, innovating your lifestyle. You're wanting to pursue better. You're wanting to do more out in the marketplace. And so the thing that I think so many people, when it comes to identifying entrepreneurship or opportunity, is that they kind of play mental ping pong with themselves, including me, right? But successful entrepreneurs don't win because they're smarter than everyone else. It's they're willing to go through all the failures, all the setbacks. And I say a lot of times, when we do events and we talk is, at the end of the day, it's who you become in the process of going for it. And who you become in the process is what you're able to give back and give value to the world, because you have real perspective. And so, I think that everyone that's listening in, or anyone that's pursuing the Pruvit brand, and you're looking to, really make a business for yourself, all of us start in the same place. And I don't care who it is. Take someone that, you look up to, Elon Musk or whoever it is, they all have the same challenges, and a wise person told me a long time ago that, the person that is able to solve problems and solve those challenges and push through them, those are the ones that ultimately become massively successful. And so, yeah, listen, I've been a serial entrepreneur my entire life. And, the greatest thing is, I'd love to say that it's all been sunshine and roses, but it hasn't. Even with what we're doing with Pruvit, we've had to fight, to continue to build this brand in the marketplace. And we're going to continue to do so. That's part of entrepreneurship. That's part of setting out on a mission. It's about being able to keep moving through those obstacles. And so, yeah, I can tell you that, I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. I've been broke. I've, wondered where I was going to get rent money at different times. And my back's been against the wall. The one thing that's remained constant is the pursuit, of better, or constantly pursuing, stepping up to the plate and swinging the bat. And I've been very fortunate that, I had an incredible family that supported me my entire life, that constantly embedded into me, Brian, be positive and confident in all you do. Be positive and confident in all you do. And I think, as I've gone through this journey, I haven't realized that is an exception, not the rule. And we're very, very blessed to have support, to have an ecosystem. And I can tell you that one of our primary goals as a company is to provide an ecosystem, no matter how big we get, that can help support people. And by the way, support isn't just catering to people or telling them what they want to hear, but provide real coaching, giving people directive on, how to push through, and also providing an ecosystem to give them the tools to grow, which is part of our layered learning program. So I love business, love entrepreneurship, love mixing it up, love competing. Because at the end of the day, the most miserable that I've been in life is when I didn't have anything to do. And I think other people can relate to that. And so the good thing is we're a part of something that's huge right now, and we're making major impact in the world. And, so anyone that's listening to this, you should feel, blessed and privileged to be a part of that. And, just taking this conversation to the market has brought value to so many people. So
no, I
that's
love
me
that.
as an entrepreneur.
I love how you said it's who you become in the process too, because I came into this, actually I tried to talk Dustin out of it for a long time first, because it was an industry PTSD that I had. And it's exactly like, I came in science guy, I was all technology focused, and it's all the leadership. It's really, it's yourself, it's Michael, it's Dustin pouring into me. That's really kept me around for the long haul, where this is where I see myself for the rest of my life, because there's never been just the time frame that's been collapsed as far as how much leadership development that I've received, even from just using words like challenges and engaged and support versus help, all these different things. So I commend you, all the leadership, tremendously for all of that, because that's supported me in my journey. It's just really collapsed a lot of time frames. So being that you said serial entrepreneur, ups and downs, I was curious if you had any strategies, tips, and tricks for someone that maybe they're going through a season of the winter, or they're in one of those low points, and kind of trusting the process, and what you'd have to kind of say on that.
To be expected. There's a book everyone should get. Look, everyone's on a different journey. Everyone's going through a different process. And to me, you can chunk it out in different stages of your life, right? Whether it's a personal relationship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's kids, whether it's a business, whether it's your job, whatever it might be. And so, to me, common sense isn't that common today, right? People don't use it. And I think that there's a book that I got that made a major impact. I should actually bring it to the office. And it's a short book. It's a short read. It's called Mastery. And the book really talks about, anytime you seek to achieve at a high level with anything, you have to understand that going to seek that or going to achieve that, it's a process. John Calipari, I know that there's a lot of Kentucky people on this phone, so I can talk a little sports. I remember when he first came on at the University of Kentucky, he told a story about giving LeBron James some advice. And he said LeBron was very upset. It was when he was, first in the league. Everyone was comparing him to Michael Jordan, and he was just really frustrated. And he said that he remembers talking to LeBron James. He said, "Man, you got to quit that. You're miserable." And LeBron James looked at him and said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Man, you can't compare yourself to Michael Jordan." He's like, "You're so worried about being the greatest that ever, you're forgetting to enjoy the process." And so remember, greatness is a process. And when you enjoy the process, that's when you become stronger. And I think so many people, they put so much pressure on themselves because they're comparing themselves with other people. A, that's the definition of misery. Or B, they don't identify things are happening for you. They're not happening to you. And so the book Mastery talks about the art of Aikido. And as you're going through becoming a master in Aikido, you got to remember you're going to have plateaus. And if this is a new business for people, then you're learning new skill sets. You're learning new tactical procedure. You're also learning a new way of thinking for some of you. For some people, they've never been entrepreneurs before. And you need high level of directive, but you have to also understand the book always talks about to be expected. The plateaus, whether you're learning a new sport, that's where you gain all your strength, right? So what happens a lot of times is people quit when they hit that resistance, right? Or when something becomes uncomfortable, they stop, or they make it worse than it is, right? I see this so many times, that people will go from a company to a company, and then they start tearing down other things around them. But the reason they do is they're trying to let themselves off the hook. So look, if you're wanting to achieve, in anything, but if you're wanting to achieve a high level of success and be a champion in what you're doing in the Pruvit community, the first thing you have to do is you have to get real with yourself. And it's okay. You have to know where you're at. from an intelligence perspective on this business, from a tactical experience, from an emotional experience, right? A lot of times people take on all this emotional weight. And then from an AQ, adaptability. Look, life is going to change, right? And the faster we move and the more we're adaptable or flexible, guess what? The more happy you're going to be and the more you're going to grow. And so the thing that I would just recommend for everyone is, number one, is be true to yourself. And if you're true to yourself and you're like, really can look in the mirror and say, this is where I'm at, be great with that, because it's not where you're at, it's where you're going. But you have to know where you're at first, right? And then the second thing is see things as they are. You don't see it worse than it is. And this is where a lot of people do, is the minute they get that resistance, right? Someone tells them no, or they're not getting rich overnight like they thought that they were going to, they all of a sudden create all of this doubt in their head. Well, I didn't get my product on time. This person, whatever it might be. My point being is that when people make it worse than it is, the subconscious reason they do it is to let themselves off the hook, right? And so don't make something worse than it is. See it as it is and have the emotional intelligence and the adaptability to know to move through it, right? And then the third thing is you have to see things better than they are. You have to have a vision for your future, and you have to constantly be feeding that and reinforcing it, right? Because then your conscious mind will move forward to fill that vision that you see yourself in. So you have to have a vision for the future, a compelling vision, and then you go make it that way. You take massive action. It doesn't mean you're gonna get the results that you need to grow into that vision. And so, I think that for people that are going through winter, that's an exciting time. That's where all the growth happens, right? Because right after winter, if you keep moving forward, guess what you have? You have the spring. And so, that's a great analogy, is the seasons of life. Jim Rohn talks about it all the time. I'd recommend you can Google it, watch some videos on it, because it applies to every aspect of your life. So that's really cool stuff.
No, I love that. And kind of like the little old adage, there's a reason for the season. And then I also like when you're talking, Mitch Newmanisms came in, like marry the outcome, or marry the process, divorce the outcome. So that same kind of process ought to be expected when you're in that kind of season. So flip side of that question, kind of looking at Pruvit, where we're at right now, with the tremendous growth that we had, 30% growth month over month at this point. How do you fire yourself up, or like what really gets you out of bed in the morning to like just want you to go charge on and go more every single day? So kind of the flip side, when you're having great success, what's the driving factor?
Well, I mean, for me, there's a lot of driving factors, right? Coach Pitino's always said, never embrace success, which means the minute you embrace it and you become comfortable in it, look, being comfortable is your enemy. The minute you become comfortable, you lose your edge. You're not pursuing better in your life. And so a lot of times when people are comfortable, they become relaxed, and that's when competition eats you up. So there's a lot of driving factors for me personally. I mean, number one, success has weight, and to be able to carry that weight is a responsibility. So accepting that responsibility, and the driving factor is reminding yourself that other people see you taking on that responsibility, right? And so then it's growing into it. And, and then it's also, having the intelligence to know that the more weight that you get, the more support that you need, right? And so I think that the driving factor for me is always, a twofold process. I mean, number one, it's, how much further can we push it? Like, how can we become not just a great brand in community-based marketing, how can we become an unbelievable brand in the world? And keeping in mind, like, why are we even here? Like, keeping that in place. Like, what is our being? Why are we being a company? And that is to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves through individual efforts, right? Of going for it. It doesn't mean that everyone's going to get rich. They're not. But if someone can come within our community and based on a relationship, based on a piece of knowledge, based on one of our technologies or products, based on one of our events, they can actually gain a new level of awareness in the world, then guess what? That's cool. That's real fulfillment. And keeping that in mind so we don't set ourselves up to be let down or feel like that we're failing. Because the reality is if you impact one person and you bring value to one person, that can have a ripple that can hit millions. And so I think so many times we put so much emphasis on achievement, financial achievement, is look, if you pursued better and you shared this conversation with one person, we have to realize, and this is muscle, we have to celebrate that. And so, for me, the thing that drives me each and every day is knowing, number one, am I being all I can be? And listen, it's ups and downs, right? It's the waves. I mean, am I setting a great example for my children in terms of being able to fend for themselves, of recklessly pursuing better? There's a lot of people that are coming on board in our community, and they're expecting us to make the right decisions to make sure we have longevity and sustainability. Making sure that we're surrounding ourselves with the right people in the marketplace so we can have great association with our brand. How do we create that transcending brand? And, and then internally, all of the people that are supporting all of this initiative and effort from all of the promoters, how do we keep their purpose at a high level to where they can truly be fulfilled when Ethan wins? And, and so all of those things, drive me. I mean, look, we're not a transactional organization. Transaction-wise, I mean, we've accomplished more than 99% of the companies that started network marketing ever accomplish. But for me, it's not about network marketing. It's how do we do it different? How do we build this as a real brand to where we have longevity and sustainability, right? And so, there's a lot of gaps that we're always questioning. How can we get better, right? Because once you hit one plateau and you break through it, there's always another step to go. And so, I had an opportunity last week to meet with Gary Vaynerchuk at his offices in New York City. And the thing that he kept reiterating, he's like, the things that you're doing is unbelievable. I mean, we're averaging 500 to 600 new customers a day. That blows me away. Look, most companies in the network marketing space, they have 2 to 3 promoters per customer. Our ratio is 30 customers per promoter. And that tells me we're doing something different. We're leading with education. We're leading with value. And the one thing he said, go all in on being a brand. Like, go all in on building the brand that can reinforce the whole community. And so, those are some of the things that drive. Is very few companies have ever done that. But the power of this model is community, is that engine. And so, creating that balance and doing something that everybody that participates can be proud of, and the reality of it is we have a lot of people. And so you're dealing with human beings. I'm a human being. I'm the first to tell you I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to mess up. I'm a human being. The thing that I will tell you is that our intent is to learn from those mistakes. Our intent is to pursue better. And, the intent is don't be afraid to make a mistake. I mean, there's no judgment on this side, right? We want to meet you where you're at, and so, but don't be afraid to make mistakes. I mean, that's how we get better. And so those are some of the things that drive me or, that are constantly in my brain and I just made a post on my Instagram and I talked about speed, right? Listen, today business moves faster. We don't have 20 years to build this the way we want to build it, right? I mean, business doesn't move slow today because of technology, because of things just like this. I mean, this right here could get out to thousands of people overnight. And so everyone has to think look, don't spend too much time in your head. Lead from your heart and go. Mess up. That's okay. Through messing up, you're going to be successful. But the thing you don't want to do is hesitate. Hesitation is failure. Hesitation creates failure, is go. And so, those are some of the things that drive me, motivate me, and challenge me. I mean, I can reflect back over the 2 years just on my personal growth. If I looked in this camera right now and I said, "Oh, I've done this before. I've managed a $300 million a year company going to 500 million." No, I haven't. I've grown so much and learned so much from meeting people like you, Ethan, or how I've handled one situation versus another situation. It's situational awareness. That's what we talk about in LCD. That it's not about me going back and beating myself up. It's just about acknowledging that wisdom as I move forward. Does this make sense?
Absolutely.
So those are things that
I love all that. You hinted on kind of the vision. A lot of people, I believe, would see our our brand right now as the ketone conversation or the ketone operating conversation. You know, elaborate more on the vision that you see 5 to 10 years from now. You know, we know that Phil Knight started Nike with shoe soles, but no one looks at Nike for shoe soles anymore. They see a whole bigger picture. So where do you see that bigger picture for Pruvit?
Well, here's the thing is we can go sell a lot of products and we can be identified as a great company that does millions of dollars in revenues. People make millions of dollars by selling products. However, we will never challenge the status quo doing that. And so when you look out 5 or 10 years, to tell you that I have an exact path of how we're going to get there, I don't. The reason why is business in 5 years is going to look and feel a lot differently than it does today. And if we don't remain flexible and we don't remain fast, we won't be able to keep up. We won't be able to stay in the blue ocean. The thing that I will tell you from a big picture standpoint is it's our vision and mission statement. It's constantly pursuing better, challenging the status quo, and introducing products, programs, community, education that can help people grow into the best version of themselves. And so that looks like a lot of different things. We have companies coming at us every single day wanting to partner with us, you know, so it's also a wisdom of saying, you know, we want to make sure that we push the envelope, but we don't get too much on the bleeding edge because you bleed a lot, right? And so we constantly reinforce our brand. The focus is building a lifestyle brand, just like you said with Nike. When you think of Nike, what do you think of?
Inspiration, motivation, better, you know.
Just do it.
Do it.
Right? Do it. Action and inspiration. And so that's where we want to go. I mean, listen, had 2 calls this morning. One of them was with a technology that helps muscle atrophy. It also helps athletes gain muscle with less impact on their bones. He's possibly going to speak at Keto Academy in May. Make sure you get your tickets. It's going to sell out. But he has a new technology that no one has. His dad worked for NASA that we're looking at doing. It's something completely out of the norm from traditional, you know, supplementation. That's why, you know, I believe that we're being able to attract the caliber of people that we can attract, the caliber of people on this phone. Also had another conversation today with Dr. David Diamond, and he called me because he had an idea or a concept of a technology and science that's out there. And I said, and it was funny, I laughed. I said, we have a patent on that. We filed a patent on that technology a year ago, and we're looking at releasing it, you know, probably this spring or summer. And he goes, really? And I got him on the phone with Ryan Lowry, and we all talked, and he was completely blown away. And you got to understand, Dr. David Diamond, he's one of those guys, you're talking about smart, the guy's freaking brilliant. You know, I mean, he started off as a neuroscientist, and he went into cardiovascular health as a doctor. And so 5 or 10 years down the road, you know, it's how do we create a global brand that inspires people to be the best version of themselves and do it as a transitional brand and staying true to not falling into the trap of becoming opportunity driven or becoming transactional driven. And listen, that's a lot easier said than done. And the reason why, you make $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month, Ethan, it's hard not to talk about the opportunity that's at hand. Hopefully we can give people this awareness that, look, if you bring enough value to enough people, you're going to get rewarded for it, both tangibly and intangibly. But the key is we have to continue, like Sarah Ramos, we have to continue to grow ourselves, because the more we grow, the more value we can bring to other people. And if we can lock in as a community to do that, this brand will become unstoppable, and we'll be able to do transcending things that no one's ever done before, because you know what? The market isn't the same as it was before.
No, I love that. I'm ready to like run a marathon. I hate running too, but like I'm excited. So I'm going to switch gears. You can make this about Pruvit. You can make this about your entire entrepreneurial career. So what are just 1 or 2 really defining moments? Like when you think entrepreneurship, these 1 or 2 moments kind of just come to mind and kind of pop up.
3 came to mind really quick. First one came to mind is when me and my dad was my hero, super successful. We got in a big fight. We didn't talk for 2 years. The reason that was a defining moment, it wasn't because I didn't talk to my dad. That killed me. It was the time that I had to sink or swim. I had to figure it out on my own. I was no longer dependent, or I didn't allow him to be my crutch to fall back on. That was back in like 99, 2000. And you got to understand, at that time I was broke, but like 3 or 4 years prior to that, I'd made $50,000 a month. right? So my point is it was an up and down, but that was number one. Second, defining moment in my business career and in my life was, I was speaking to a crowd in Dallas, Texas. I had a girl come up to me and, I was speaking just like coaches had always spoken to me. And she said, I've never had anyone talk to me like that. My dad put me down. My mom beat me up. And she had tears in her eyes. And I'll never forget how I felt inside when she was talking to me, because I thought to myself, you arrogant prick. Like, you have all of this talent and you don't realize how powerful your words are. She had tears in her eyes. And I realized that because of the words that we spoke and because of sharing what had been embedded in me for, 20 years of, you can do anything you set your mind to, don't settle for less, go for it. Those type of things. Like, it shifted her awareness or her trajectory. And I remember I was supposed to go out that night. I was young, I didn't, because I felt awful. And I don't know why I felt awful, because it was a defining moment, but it made me realize that I was going through the motions and I was saying the right words, but it wasn't congruent. I didn't really realize the depth of them. And, it made me grateful for where I was in my life, having a family that supported me. My dad dropped me off for school every day, be positive and confident in all you do. My mom, supported me in every way that she could. And I realized for the first time, even though, and at a young age, sometimes you don't correlate, that's the exception. All of us are so blessed, it's beyond our wildest belief. The average person in the world makes less than $2 a day. And think about the ecosystem. Think about the amount of resources that are on this live right now. If you just go down through the list of people on here, every single person has a gift. Every single person has energy. Every single person has support. If you're on this call, you have support. You have people that believe in you, sometimes more than you believe in yourself. So that was a huge defining moment, right? And then I think that the thing that really made me realize about that was there's more to it than just money, right? It doesn't mean you're going to be 100% with everyone. There's no way, because you're also dealing with other people's skeletons, right? It's human behavior, and the needs of other people, and you can't be 100% with everyone. And I think that probably the most recent defining moment me as an entrepreneur or, in life is, just having a family and realizing that, you have, I mean, it's just, your life shifts. Everyone used to tell me this: when you have kids, your life shifts. And I never understood what that meant until I had them. And so, it's bigger than just you. And so that's kind of cool, and then also, I think most recently, probably in the last year or two, is sometimes letting yourself off the hook. Don't beat yourself up so much. You're going to mess up and it's okay. And so I kind of go through that a lot as well.
No, I'm constantly on that one. And I love what you said, kind of like how everything shifts. As an entrepreneur now with a family, and do let me know, I could go all day with these, because I love everything that's inside your brain swimming around. The kind of how you manage your time, like how can you maximize your gift zone given that we all have a finite amount of time?
Man, I'm probably the worst. I mean, I don't know if I'm a good one to ask that. I would say this is that I don't I'm not a list guy. I have a lot of people around me that have lists to help support and reinforce. And as you grow, more people do it. I think it's just about, I'm not a great time manager. So that's I think that priorities are never in conflict. So when something's a priority, you take care of it, you handle it, and you go through it. Like, the urgent things are urgent. Take care of them and get through them. Don't push them off. I think so many people push things off that are important because they might not want to deal with it or face it. Is get it over with and go. I mean, listen, sometimes you got to go all in, leave it all out on the floor. And, listen, there's plenty of days that I'm like, what did I actually accomplish today? I don't know if you all can relate. But if you're constantly moving forward, you're getting there. It's step by step, right? If you're going to go 100 yards, you're not going to cover the whole 100 yards. So it's okay. Is just focus on where you want to go and ask yourself, is this a multiplying energy or effort, or is it something that's diminishing? I would say this: in time management, the number one thing is don't get sucked into the gutter. Is misery loves company. Cows wallow in each other's doo-doo. Is the minute you can detect positive energy and negative energy, and you can let go of the negative energy, whether it's coming from friends, family members, co-workers, whatever it is if you want to move forward in your life, you have to disconnect from the negative energy, and you have to move forward into multiplying energy that multiplies your efforts, peer group that multiplies who you are, right? And so the minute you can do that, I think that time management for me gets a lot more efficient. And, because there's sometimes even now, it's like I find myself dwelling in something that is not moving the ball forward. Like, why am I doing that? It doesn't mean don't take care of issues. It doesn't mean handle them and get through them, but it means don't dwell in negativity. Don't dwell in the gossip or the drama triangle or, the disillusionment. Like, really have effective questions for moving yourself forward, and don't get attached, to the result, right? Get attached to the process, like you said. And I think so many people take so many things personally. Jim Rohn always says, be the guard of your mind. Like, be careful what you put in your mind. And that comes from books, peer group, environments, everything.
No, I love it. LCD for me, that was like probably the biggest awareness I had on a lot of that too, because a lot of times it's the cater versus lead, and I heard you allude to it earlier, but you'll cater not recognizing your behaviors to the kind of the negative people trying to pull everyone up kind of thing, but it's letting them go and kind of being able to recognize where everyone's at. So I'm going to shift gears just really quick, and then I have two last little questions. So one of them is, I recently got started with the Audible like yesterday. I've been going on it like any moment that I can on the power of moments. And I'm starting to recognize some of what you've been doing just listening to this book. I know at one point you actually out of the blue completely mailed me a really cool like gimbal thing. And it was one of these special things that I just sat there like jaw dropped, just staring at it. And I know we also have the next Keto Academy More actually being taken place in the Palace Theater, which that in itself is a moment and a special kind of atmosphere. So what were your kind of insights from that book, just as like kind of go through it, and then how have we kind of integrated that as a community within Pruvit?
Well, let me ask you this: what was your number one takeaway from the book, if you're reading it?
So far it's just been, it's how you can surprise people without creating an expectation. So it's like, how do you keep it on the threshold? You're always surprising. You're bringing these like magical moments that really like you don't know how it's going to shift or the trajectory of someone's life and like the ripple from it. So for me, it's just been like my brain's just swimming like, okay, I want to make more money personally because I want to be able to provide magic moments like for everyone. Like I want that to be now like the way I do this business completely is just how to create income to then provide moments over here.
So, I think this is really cool. Here's what we should do is what you'll find like from selfish, like when you do something really cool for someone else, selfishly, it will make you feel better than something that you've gained. I'm just telling you. So like, it's okay to be selfish sometimes. 2 days ago, I'm not going to tell you what I did, but I thought about someone that every time I see this person, my face lights up. True story. And and I couldn't imagine going through one day of what she goes through. And so like just out of the blue did something, but I did it because of how it made me feel. And I know she would appreciate it. But my point is, moments are great. And here's the funny thing about it is I want everyone to challenge this is today, even right now, shoot a text to someone, an outrageous text. Maybe if it's even a friend of me, right? Or someone, and just tell them how much you love them or something great about them or how much you admire them. Just do it. And maybe it's somebody you haven't even talked to in 4 years. And just watch the response, even if they don't give you a response. We don't want to do things with a hook. We don't want to give to get. But the book was amazing to me, and it was probably the story about the memoir that Mr. Ward was writing to himself when he found out he only had 6 months left to live. And sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times the day just goes by and you forget to share a magic moment with someone or take time. There's so much noise in our life right now. I just think that if we can constantly keep that in the front of our head, we'll all be happier people. And I have to work on that. It's a muscle. Like some days I get so bogged down, I forget to enjoy time with my kids or my wife or my friends or people that are all human beings, right? We should get so tunnel focused. So for me, when I read through that book, it was just a constant reminder that hey, what life is about. Like, you know, it's fulfillment. And, you know, through his story in his memoir, he said that he felt like to get a, you know, in a day when he was focusing on those moments and appreciating them, you know, it was like living a week. And so it was really cool. But I would encourage everyone, listen, life is about magic moments. And this is just my personal take, right? I know we all have different beliefs on this phone, but when you meet your maker, when it's all said and done, to me, I don't know if we'll remember the instances, but I just, this is my gut. I believe that we'll remember, you know, the moments that made us feel that love and that connection. And yeah, so that book for me was just a constant reminder. So I would encourage all of you, get on it, jump on it, read it, apply it to your life, apply it to your business, and have fun with it.
No, you won't be able to put it down. I'm not a big reader personally. I am doing the audio, but it's one of those books that, like, it's just going constantly. Like, I can't stop. So I love that. Thinking moments. So one last quick question. What is your word or your mantra for 2018?
Speed.
Speed. I love it.
No, I mean, that's good. I don't really have a mantra, but like, I think right now what's in my head the most is speed. And the reason why is I feel like that our community, we're in this time and place in life that all of us have the ability to do more, be more, accomplish more. And we have this really unique time that we can be the brand that transcends the marketplace. We can be the brand that helps people identify their personal power and the ripple effect that they have on the world. We can be that brand that can challenge the status quo. And we have this window, right? This great window that we can capture it if we go, if we have speed. We don't look left, we don't look right. We forget about our fears and our limiting beliefs and all that junk and those stories behind us, and we just go. And so, so right now it's you know, speed. And the other one I think is, like you said, is fulfillment. I mean, I said to Nancy last night, I was like, you know, sometimes I feel like a failure of a dad. I was like, I have to learn to spend more time with my kids, even though we try to integrate everything that we do into what we're doing. You know, we don't want to miss those times. And so I would say those are the two words for the mantra.
I love it. Well, I appreciate that. Actually, it's funny. I sent my mom a text the other day with some pictures from the Surge event, and she just simply like sent back, like, you look so happy. And it was the first time I actually sent back, like, actually, I just feel fulfilled. Like, it's just true fulfillment. So right. I appreciate everything so much from everything as a brand we've done, because that's more than anything I've ever received from Pruvit. That's that fulfillment aspect.
No, and I appreciate you. Listen, I mean, I've seen you grow in 2 years unbelievably, right? Like, you were scared to death to like jump into business, and you use these limiting beliefs like, I'm young and I'm a kid. I mean, look, in today's world, you don't have to be 22 or 62 to figure some things out, and you have so much to give other people. I mean, you're wicked smart, but you have this huge heart. And every time that I talk to people that spend time with you, they love you. And so we appreciate everything that you've contributed from that perspective, and, you know, being an ambassador to what we're doing. And anyway, I look forward to seeing all of you guys. I'm getting ready to post something probably today or tomorrow on Instagram. I'd love to get your all's feedback on it. It's a repost from someone else, but I love the analogy of it. So y'all have to check that out.
Right.
But listen, if there's anything that we can do, you guys keep pursuing better. Whatever your it is, whatever your goal is, keep proving it every single day. And I'm gonna hop off of here, and if y'all, I'm gonna go eat. I'm so hungry. So I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you so much, Brian. Have a good one.
All right,
Cheers,
see
everybody.
ya.